The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger is a story that focuses on the musings and misadventures of Holden Caulfield, and it has since then become an icon for teenage rebellion. There are a couple major themes in the book, so without further ado, let's get started. Youth is something that Holden looks to with a certain kind of respect. He thinks kids are the epitome of innocence. They're genuine, caring, and unafraid to be truthful, a huge contrast to the, quote, phony adult bastards. Holden spends a lot of time in the book watching kids just be themselves and wishing that adults did more of the same. So for the concept of youth, we're going to apply your favorite shade of foundation and concealer to achieve that flawless, youthful glow. But everyone has to grow up someday, and with age comes wisdom and knowledge, two things that Holden considers pointless because to him, institutionalized education is just another way for adults to teach kids to be more phony. How to get an office job, play golf all day. I've always thought that brows make your face look more mature and grown up, so we're filling out our brows to symbolize growth via knowledge and wisdom. By the end of the novel, even Holden has to admit that there's some merit to learning, that education can keep you from wasting your natural talents. TLDR, stay in school, kids! Now, madness is represented here by a bright shade of orange eyeshadow. Holden says so himself that his nerves are shot, and everyone who has ever been a teenager knows that being a teenager is a whole lot of crazy. So really, how much of Holden's story can we trust, or is it all just him being a teenager and exaggerating everything he sees? Going right along with the concept is sadness, which we're using to shade in the outer corners of our eyes, with a mix of dark browns and purples to give the madness a bit more depth. Throughout the story, it's pretty obvious that Holden isn't the happiest guy in the world, so perhaps his sadness is the underlying shadow for all his madness? And then, for isolation, we're going to line our eyes with black liquid liner, to really set off the eyeshadow from earlier. In the novel, Holden is isolated in that he lives in a fairly confined community and feels trapped by the narrow worldviews of his friends and peers. But at the same time, because he's grown up in such an environment all his life, he can't connect with people who aren't a part of that circle either. And that's why we're lining not only our top lid, but our bottom lid as well, for that extra layer of isolation. And now for the concept of sex. That's right, Holden is a pretty normal teenage boy in that sense. He thinks about sex a lot and even says that he's a sex maniac. So to represent that, we're dusting our cheeks with a light shimmery pink blush. Orgasm by NARS, maybe? But as much as he wishes he were a super stud, Holden is still a virgin and very naive, and it becomes very obvious when he tries to pay a hooker for sex and ends up just asking her to talk. So finally, dust a light sheen of highlight for innocence over your cheeks, on the bridge of your nose and your forehead. And finally, Holden's biggest issue is with society and how fake it all seems. He calls it phoniness, and Holden is sure that it's the root of all evil and the cause of all that corrupts innocence and happiness for children as they grow up. So, curl your lashes and apply a thick layer of Falsies mascara. You can even go the extra mile and use some nice fake lashes. And with that, we're finished with the Catcher in the Rye inspired makeup look. Among other things, you'll find that you're not the first one who was ever confused and frightened and even sickened by human behavior. J.D. Salinger. Hey guys, thanks for watching my first ever makeup video. I hope you've learned something, and if not, then I hope you at least enjoyed watching me put things on my face. If you think this content is interesting, and if, like I said, you've learned something, then hit the subscribe button below. Because it's my first video, I thought I would give you guys like an overview of what I hope this channel will be in the future. Every week, hopefully I'll have a video up like this, based on one of the books from the high school mandatory reading list in America, because I know not everyone loves to read. I'm trying to meld the beauty and reading sides of hopefully YouTube, the world, whatever. I also have a blog, lifestyle literature blog, to to go with this channel that I'll be updating a lot more frequently than I will update this YouTube channel, because video editing is a pain and a terror and I don't know what I'm doing. So that will be linked below. It's also under literature. For now, it's hosted on Tumblr. I'll be posting book reviews, lifestyle tips. Maybe I'll talk about tea and coffee a lot because I have the world's worst caffeine addiction. Yeah, all that fun stuff. Working on a Twitter and Instagram as well, because you have to cover all the bases. Hopefully that'll be up soon too. So thank you guys for sticking with me for the duration of this video. I hope I wasn't too awkward. I will see you guys next week.